Hey there kids, it's me, MrCreepyPasta, and before we get started on tonight's story, I'm just going to let you know about one quick thing, and that's going to be about an upcoming convention. I will be at a convention again. Oh my god, it's going to feel so good going back. I will be at MomoCon this year. MomoCon takes place May 26th to May 29th, and it will be in Atlanta, Georgia. I really hope I get a chance to see you guys. I haven't been to MomoCon in so long for very obvious reasons, for one, but also just because I don't think I was even there before. Gestures vaguely at everything. So I'm really excited to see you guys. I hope that I will see you all at MomoCon. I will have a bunch of posters that I will be giving away for free. So please come by, get yourself a poster, come see the show, come listen to Creepypastas. And now, on to tonight's story. Morning light crept its way into my room less than an hour after I got the message from Olivia Kearney. I probably stared at that note I scribbled for the longest time, though, trying to decide whether or not I was in or out of this mess. Then before I knew it, there was another rap at my door. "It's open," I muttered. Somewhere between the hours, I managed to stumble back to bed and get sleep. I heard the door crunch, then the newcomer pulled at the blinds and made a loud popping noise right over my head. Shielding my eyes from the sun, I sat up and found myself staring at the young blonde from the station. "Rise and shine," she said, popping her bubble gum again and tossing me some clothes. "Take a shower, put these on. We meet outside in 10. After stretching and letting her leave, I took a minute to peek out the blinds and see what sort of damage the storm had done to Emerald Bay. Much to my surprise, however, the ghost town looked no more desolate or run down than it had the day prior. It made me wonder if whatever I had heard and seen the night before was some sort of smoke and mirror set up by KTHU. Was the old woman an actor in whatever scam they were pulling? The reason for this doubt is because before I came here, I can't say that I've ever heard of that call sign before. It was just Emerald Bay. It doesn't seem to exist anywhere, not even in the corners of the darknet. How did Channel 46 remain that much of a secret? After a quick shower, this doubt I felt. That they were hiding something only grew when I saw the impressive outfitted Hummer the girl was driving. There was no way a place like this could afford something like that. "Busy day today. Let's grab a bite to eat before we head to the station," she suggested as she revved the engine. I tipped my head to her with a polite smile. "I don't think we've been properly introduced, Miss Natalie Costello, but you can call me Nat. Everyone does. Astronomer and mathematician. Welcome aboard, newbie," she said with a giggle and then sped down the road. "So, how long have you been with KTHU?" 6 months. Nice to finally have some new blood. Just hope you last longer than the last cameraman." That gave me pause. "I take it you seem to have job vacancies often?" "Nick was a good one. Really thought he would make it," she admitted as she turned the corner and started rambling. "You know, the way I see it, the boss should have been more open with y'all about what we're up against. It's not like telling you is gonna change nothing." She spat out gum and pulled up to the front of the diner. "Nobody listens to me anyway, except for Martin. He still remembers what it was like before all this." I kept quiet, too afraid that if I interrupted, she might second-guess what she was saying, and we walked inside. Unfortunately, my hopes of the conversation continuing were dashed to pieces when Natalie saw the diner was full of customers. All of them seemed to be of the same breed, long-faced, bulging eyes. Their skin showed signs of severe dehydration. "Where did all these people come from?" I muttered as Natalie grabbed my shirt and whispered, "Stick close to me." We walked up to the counter as she rang the bell, glancing nervously up towards the TV monitor. It was blank. From the back, the old woman appeared and offered a blank stare to both of us. "Morning, Maggie. Something wrong with the set?" Natalie asked with a tense smile. "Storm knocked out the power. Must have blown a fuse, 'cause it hadn't been working all morning," she said dismissively as she got out her pen and paper and asked for our order. Natalie stood back up. "You know what? I think we'll just take a rain check on that, Maggie. It's the new guy's first day. Probably shouldn't be working on a full stomach." She grabbed my arm and turned to leave, bringing us face to face with one of the old townsfolk. "That's the rush," the fellow said with a wide grin. looked unsettling. "Stay," the second person insisted, and pushed us both down on the shoulders. "You can't leave," the first agreed. "Natalie? What's going on?" I asked, still trying to determine if any of this was real or not. Suddenly others in the diner started chanting the same 3 words. "You can't leave!" Natalie reached in her purse and grabbed the keys. "On the count of 3, we're gonna make a run for it," she told me. "What?" Their chanting was getting louder. 1, they were all standing up and staring at us, looking dead-eyed. 2, Natalie, I think we should... Before I could get the word out, she yanked at my hand, and we were dashed towards the parking lot. The crowd was on us, snapping their mouths like piranha as we pushed to the door. Out in the parking lot, Natalie clicked the doors open and shouted for me to just get inside. As I saw the townsfolk beginning to scramble out of the diner like a flood, I didn't have to be told twice. Cranking up the engine, Natalie instantly put the Hummer in reverse. "Buckle up," she warned me. A few of the patrons from the diner were weaving their way into the road, but that didn't stop her. I let out a gasp as she plowed the vehicle into the first one, and then picked up speed. I gripped the seat and looked back towards the pedestrians we had run over, only to find he was already standing back up and staring at us ominously. "There's a walkie in the center column. Switch it over to frequency 2, she told me as she made the next block. I opened the middle console and reached for it. A burst of static filled the air as I saw more of them rushing towards us, faster than wild dogs. "Nat, this is only meant to be for emergencies," that was Martin's voice. "Martin, we're coming in hot. Get the garage open now," she ordered him. "Shit, seriously?" the black man muttered as she stepped on the gas and passed from the city streets into the back roads. The strangers were still coming through, running down the trail like a flock of angry zombies, shrieking and hollering as I spotted the gate in the station. "Hold on," Natalie ordered as she twisted the steering wheel hard. Another attacker knocked aside. We drifted straight through the old metal doors as she slammed on the brakes, and I heard the townsfolk begin to beat down the station, desperate to get inside. I fumbled out of the car and watched as they kept scratching at the metal with their bare fingers, till at last a strong, deafening noise emerged from all through the station. The strangers began to thrash and bang their heads against the glass, angrier than ever before. Then they all collapsed onto the ground, writhing and shrieking mindlessly. Natalie grabbed my arm and pulled me inside as Martin closed the garage up completely. "What the hell, Nat? They almost breached us that time," Martin muttered as we walked quickly down to the control room. Jim was inside, handling the controls, watching the monitors as the group of 30-something individuals kept flopping about on the ground like fish out of water. "I'm sorry, I went to grab Dylan, and I thought we had time to grab a bite to eat," she said anxiously. "God damn it, girl, you know not to go down into town after a storm," the black man said as he paced the room, and then turned to Jim. "Is it working?" "Give it a few more seconds," the stout man replied as he looked towards my face. "You okay, son?" Jim asked with a smile. I clenched my fists, looking from Natalie's pale face to Martin's stern one, and then said, "I'd really appreciate it if someone told me what the hell is going on around here." A few seconds later, the townsfolk stopped shaking. Then I heard a door slam behind me and Olivia entered the room. "That should be good, Jim," she said. The stout man reached towards a control panel and the sharp noise stopped, leaving the room silent except for the awkward tension between the group. "What the hell happened?" Olivia asked. "It was my fault. I didn't know the power would be cut. I just wanted to grab a bite to eat." Natalie fumbled over her words, and the younger girl sighed irritably. "We'll deal with that later. Go watch the phones or something. Jim, start up the generator. Dylan, you're with me." I blinked a few times and then followed her down the hallway wordlessly. I was too anxious and excited to meet her father to ask her more prying questions about the things that I had just seen. After a short, brisk walk, she knocked on the door and a raspy voice shouted, "Come." She pressed the metal frame open, making it give a sharp creak. We found ourselves standing in a smoke-filled room. Amid the clouds of cigarette smoke sat an older, balding man wearing square glasses and a pressed suit. "Did the signal push through?" the man asked, his attention completely focused on Olivia. "For the most part, but there's a problem at the diner again," she said. "I heard," he said, taking another smoke. I coughed softly, and his eyes briefly flicked towards me before going back to his daughter. "Make sure the backups are online. And dock Natalie's pay a week," the boss decided. She nodded and stood there for a minute before gathering that her father wanted to talk to me alone, then left the room as quickly as she had come. "So, you're the chaser," the old man said dryly, reaching into his pocket to grab a lighter. Yes, sir, Dylan Pruitt, I said, extending my hand to him, but he left it lingering in the air as he pulled out the cigarette and muttered, Olivia tells me you had to come quite a ways to reach us. I'm, originally from Missouri, sir, I said to him. Well, Dylan Pruitt from Missouri. Hate to break it to you. We're not hiring right now, he said. What? But the ad said we were looking for footage, which we will compensate you for, and give you enough extra to make it back home, he said as he reached for his checkbook. I told your daughter I didn't want your money. Maybe not. But I'll give that to you and something more. This contact info is the best way to get yourself a job at any news agency in the West Coast. You'll be able to pursue your dreams of chasing death anywhere you want, Mr. Kearney said, sliding the info across the desk. I took a look at it, having no doubt in my mind that it was a legit offer, but instead I simply passed it back to him and replied, I appreciate the offer. But after everything I've seen these past few days, I'm afraid I'll have to decline. He nodded absently, tapping the business card on the desk before commenting, Who did you lose? I'm sorry? Nobody chases storms with a zeal like this, except for one reason and one reason only. You lost someone in a storm. Someone close. I opened my mouth to make a reply, but before I got the chance, another person slammed on Mr. Kearney's door. Sorry to interrupt, boss, but I got a signal, Jim said as he creaked the door open. That was enough to make him sit up straight. What? How? Martin's probe. Caught the tail end of it just outside the county line. Looks mighty promising, Jim said excitedly. Before Mr. Kearney had a chance to respond, his daughter pushed the door open and remarked, Don't even think about it. We still haven't heard from Caleb. Who's Caleb, anyway? I asked, recalling the name as Jim spread a map out right in front of their boss. It's all flatland out there. Should be a done deal. We could get in and out before anything went sideways, Jim insisted, ignoring my inquiry. And who's going to be manning this little expedition, Lasher? You? Olivia snapped. Jim rubbed the back of his head and muttered, Look, Paul, we might not get a chance like this for a good long while. Me and Nat can watch the base, and we can do this. We have to. There's no way I'm leaving my father's life in your hands, Olivia snapped. Enough, Mr. Kearney said sharply as he looked at the chart, and then towards me. You familiar with these roads, Pruitt? I glanced at the map and nodded. Yeah, I could get you there, no problem. What? You can't be serious, Olivia said, as her dad grabbed something from under his desk and then leaned on it to stand up. It took me by surprise, as I saw him lean against a crutch, and then realized his right leg was completely gone. Martin will have his hands full with the camera, and I sure as hell can't drive, he said dryly. The old man tossed a pair of keys to me and remarked, Congratulations, Mr. Pruitt. Looks like you'll get to chase that dream after all. To be continued. Hey there kids, it's me, MrCreepyPasta, and as always, I want to tell you thank you so much for watching tonight's video. If you guys are interested in finding new books from authors that you hear of on this channel, please pay attention to the links in the description down below. For one, you can always get a hold of my books, which are the Creepypasta Collections Volume 1 and Volume 2, but also from a bunch of my other friends, such as Jack Townsend, where Tales from the Gas Station Volume 4 is currently available. You can find a link in the description, as well as a link to all of my audiobooks I've done for Volumes 1 through 3. And yes, trust me, I'm going to be working on 4. It's just going to take me a while. And as always, I want to give a very big thank you to everybody who is on my Patreon. That means everybody. Everyone who is from the $1 tier all the way up to the, God, why do you pledge that much tier? But I especially want to give a big thank you to Jordan Alexander Sanchez, Stephanie Butler, Bobby Karman, Tristan Pelton, Chance Burnett, Diana Kraus, Kyle Reznak, Happy Birthday Ollie Whale, David Martin, Scare-ington, The Unkempt, Angelus, Spanky, Snootchie bootchies, Autistic Spidey, Fruddy, Seclude, Lupita Galvan, That Creepy Chick, Tyler Fletcher, Rebecca Harper, Merxinum, Red Shadow Cat, Xavier the Cheyenne, Demyx, Sean Cadieu-baker, 6 Gay Rats in a Trenchcoat, Turtleman, Rob Likes Sharp Things, Chaos Arts, Cryolinian, Zachary Gruffius, Lord Life's Best, Goreng Trimagacy, Maria Walker, Pain Gravy, Crazy Kid, Mr. Marcus Blitz, Aka Limchalk, Dirt Diver 030, Matt Bach, Naughty Devil, Voice of Sands, Coffee Zombie, Matthew McNeese, Shelly J, Jeremy H, Reltazol, Ficomel, Nana, Deleted Account, Melted Lake, Tali Sue, William King, Darth Miver, Michael Ortiz, Satanic Aries, Nessie, Bardo Hawk 764, Lambda M98, Harley, Sashi Suzaku, Croconut 509, Kaylee Ambrose, Suji Campbell, Stricken, Freddy Krueger, Nicholas Sicardi, Happy Birthday Jason Wilson, Lisa Cottrell, Caspian, Hades Nephew, Tater Chip, Acid System, Prozac and Pancake Appreciation Society, Benjamin Welvart, Kiri the Sloth, Fester's Lampshade, Sky Harbor, Nico Kyle, Rafael Rodriguez, The Ginger Bros, Aaron Stormcrow, Daniel Polson, and Corey Kenshin. As always, you guys are the MVPs. Everybody who's on that list, everybody who's on that Patreon, everybody who's in the description, thank you so much. And if you'd like to join this list of names that I horribly mispronounce, head over to patreon.com/MrCreepyPasta. And as always, everyone, sweet dreams.